Are renter being taken advantage of? Plus, how much time does a real estate professional actually spend working for you? And what are the top 10 reasons why you choose one?
Plus, we're going to talk about mortgage rates and how you can be prepared for what's going on. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm part of the Maximum One team. This is the Maximum One Market Update. My
My name's
partner,
Maine Richardson.
there you
Thank you for
go.
watching.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on here. So we kind of want to jump right in and talk about like what's going on with the rental market. Right now, in here in the U.S., about a third, roughly one third of all U.S. households are renters, and
Yes.
so uh, at the same time, if you look at compare that to the actual real estate market.
So for every listing out there, there's potentially 30 renters for that property.
And so one of the reasons why we want to point that out is because, yeah, I mean, like a third of uh, all homes in the U.S. are apartments, and like why is that such a big deal to buyers, right? And for us, we are definitely housing advocates. We believe in the power of home ownership. That's really where wealth comes from. But understand that we aren't the only ones that
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 thinks
know
the
this,
same way.
right? Because
So the Dallas Invitation Home announced a $200 million joint venture to acquire newly constructed home as rentals.
see, like Invitation Homes is the largest single family rental investor owner in the United States. And they're heavily invested here in the Atlanta market. And I guess what we really want to point out is here is one of the largest single family rental company. And they are building brand new homes to be able to turn around and lease out. And I want you to think about why that is. Well, it's because wealth in the United States is tied up into home ownership, and so either you're part of that or you're not. What
Or you're a
invitation?
contributor
Well, I mean,
to it.
but what Invitation Homes knows is that wealth comes from home ownership, and so if you can be a renter, and I'm not knocking anyone who's a renter. Okay, this is not
And
about
sometimes,
shaming
no, no,
anybody,
no, no, no.
but like if you're going to live in an area for at least 5 years, you need to buy a home, right? I mean, like if you need that. That's where our wealth creation really does come from. See, you have to understand that unlike renters, homeowners gain equity in a couple of ways. One, when they pay down their mortgage payment, that starts to pay off that amount, and then also we're seeing property value appreciation, and right now we're in somewhere in that 3 to 4% property value appreciation range. And so if you own a home for 10 years and it appreciates at 3.5%, well, now you've got 30% equity or value that's increased, plus you paid down the mortgage. See,
So that's where the numbers as far as home ownership and wealth is coming from. But as a renter, just remember you're paying 100% of the interest. The money that you spend out, you'll never recuperate. Not only that, it's not even an asset of yours.
yeah, I mean, if you're spending $1,500 a month and you lived in a place for 2.5 years, you've paid them $45,000. And see, the real kicker here and why that makes such a big impact is because when you look at the average net worth for a renter versus the average net worth
Of
for a
a
homeowner,
homeowner.
I mean, it's not even close. The average net worth for a renter is, drumroll please, the
$10,400.
average, and that's if
That's
you,
today's market.
but if you take that 30% of consumers that rent a home and you took all their net worth and you divided it out, the average renter is worth $10,400. Now, if you took all the real estate, all the residential real estate, and you divided that by all the people who own residential real estate, their net worth is $396,000. So you can either be part of the group whose average net worth is a little over 10,000, or you can be part of the group whose average net worth is almost 400,000. Which group do you want to be? Now, I don't say this tongue in cheek, right? We know that buying in this market is a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge.
It's
It's
not
always been
easy.
a challenge. That really hasn't changed from generation to generation. Right now, interest rates are not where we would like to see them by any means at the moment. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't go ahead and engage with a mortgage professional, right? Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. For us, we always go with the wildfire mortgage team. May not. I wouldn't recommend anyone to lock rates right now. We are going to see rates going down, but you still need to start that process
And
right
just want to
now.
let you know, from last week, the mortgage application has gone up by 2%. And from last year, this time, it's gone up by 1%.
Yeah.
And FHA year to date, we're seeing an increase of 3%. But what's better is our veterans. Our veteran has increased their percentage to 9%. So that is a great thing to hear.
Well, and we see that anytime that we see mortgage rates higher on the rise, we see more people move over into FHA and more people take advantage of the no down payment VA loans. And so there are still options out there for you. We understand that it's difficult, it can be challenging, um, but
Let's
it's
continue the
it's so
subject.
worth it. It's so
Yeah.
worth it, absolutely. So
So let's take some survey about buyer's agent.
yeah, so
Okay.
a lot of times a lot of buyers just don't understand what goes in to a real estate transaction, right? And matter of fact, in a recent study, 25% of buyers felt that their real estate agent only spent less than 10 hours. And another one, and they said, well, how about almost 46% of those buyers thought.
We spend less than 15 hours.
But see, the reality of it is the average real estate agent spends closer to 90 hours on working on the transaction because there's
That's the
so many
average.
things. And why is that? Well, because the real estate agent's job is there to make it easy, right? It
So we're kind of like a glacier. On the surface,
glacier.
I mean, if you think about on the surface, it's nice and pretty. But in the bottom, there might be turbulence because it's moving in all directions. So for us and to help our client, we want to make sure that your transaction is seamless as possible. So there's a lot of things that we talk about on the back end to smooth out the path for our client that you'll never see.
Setting up appointments,
Hmm.
searching for properties, sending updates, like all in all, that 90 hours that the average real estate agent spends, that's kind of the minimum because for a lot of real estate agents, they're going to work for you. They don't get paid until
Until
you
you
actually
close.
close, but
Correct.
they a lot of times they'll work with folks sometimes for years. And so like all that being said, you as a consumer, like what are the top 10 reasons why you should actually be looking to choose a real estate agent? And so when you are on the market and starting looking for it, first thing is you want someone that is knowledgeable and understands the local market. They have market insights, what's really going
Absolutely.
on in there. You want someone that has access to the MLS, to local networks, and is really engaged with everything going on. Someone who's a good negotiator and they can negotiate for themselves as well as on your behalf. Watch out for someone that won't negotiate for their for themselves. Like you'll see some folks in the real estate industry that they'll just kind of do whatever they can to get by. When you have someone who's going to negotiate for their fees, well, then you can better believe that they're much better suited to negotiate for your fees too.
Or your whole total package
Yeah.
of an offer.
Yeah. Consumers, they need someone that can understand all the intricacies of the transaction, but also is there to save them time and make this process a lot more easy. They're there to give you
Professional
professional.
guidance and support.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. In addition to that, um, you know, they need to be able to throw out objective advice. Now, you're not going to get a real estate professional's advice unless you have a buyer brokerage agreement with them. Because in order for us to give advice, you have to be our client for us to really specify that information out there. They need to be able to help you evaluate how much a home is worth, and
Hmm.
and we do that here in the U.S. based on comparison. This house down here, like what are the other homes in the neighborhood, that kind of stuff. They're going to do what's called a comparative market
Market analysis.
analysis for you on to be able to look at those kind of properties. You need someone who's going to do that for you, not just be like, yeah, that's a good price
Not
kind
only
of thing.
that, you need someone to handle an offer and counter offer should it have been presented back to your client.
What's that? What
These
percentage
things,
get counter offers? I think like what 90% have counter offers on them, just back and forth.
just a back and forth, and
Even
sometimes it's
small
not in
things.
writing, sometimes it's a verbal.
Yeah,
So with that said, just understand in real estate, nothing is final until it's on a dotted line
yeah. Ain't real if it
signed.
ain't rope.
So, but anyway, the realtor also should protect you from legal protection and risk mitigation. So,
Yep.
if you choose this path, the realtor should tell you what the consequences based on that path. So, a lot of us, you're not made or designed to read a 10-page document, understand each one a line item um,
But we need to be there
thoroughly.
to gonna make sure that we
But
protect
as a
you.
realtor and real estate agent, we're here to let you know what those line item means and what
Yeah,
consequences it has for you, if not a benefit.
yeah.
It's not always consequences, sometimes a benefit.
And then the last thing here is your agent should help you to reduce the
Absolutely.
amount of stress that you're going through, right? Because when you look at what are the top stressful activities for most Americans, it revolves around death of a family member, changing jobs, and moving. Those are
Life event changes.
and divorce. All those are like right up there. And so moving is a stressful time for folks. You need folks who can de-stress that situation for you to make the whole process.
A little
Buying a
bit
home is
easier.
yeah. I mean, they should be able to navigate you through the whole process, and you should have a very good sense of confidence in who you're working with. So we would love to help. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, or smoke signals. We got to do anything. You can visit us at max1partners.com.
Or call us at our office, 678-782-5050, and ask for a team.
Yep. Or you can just email us team at Max One Partners and we'll get you hooked up right away. Have a great week.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Bye.
day.